Einat, do you see a better future if Netanyahu is not prime minister and somebody else is?
Regardless of who's prime minister, the one non-negotiable that the Jewish people have in the state of Israel is that we want to be sovereign in our own state, in our own homeland. You will never find a government, and you actually had Israeli governments, Barak, Olmert, who offered Palestinians a state only to be rebuffed and have it followed up with violence. Even with Trump, I remind you that it is Netanyahu himself who said yes to Palestinian state as part of the Trump peace plan. And it is the Palestinian leader who said, true to their century-long battle, no, no, and 1,000 times no. So the issue is not one singular leader. The issue is what the people want. And unfortunately, it's always been this. The Jews wanted a state. That is the one non-negotiable. They're willing to have it a small state. They said yes to partition. They said yes to multiple plans from 1937 to 47 to 67 to 2000 to 2008 to the Trump peace plan. They've said yes to two-state solutions. And the Arabs, and especially the Palestinians, are yet to say yes to any plan that will let a Jewish state live. So if anyone truly wants peace, the only obstacle has ever been the Arab and especially Palestinian rejection of the Jewish right to self-determination. Solve that and you solve the conflict.
Khaled, can I get you to speak to that?
Yeah, that's it's completely ahistorical, has no resemblance to the reality on the ground. The absence of peace comes from the fact that the denial of Palestinian rights, and in the case of the current Israeli government, the denial of their very existence. Palestinians, 5 million Palestinians live under Israeli rule with no rights at all. And in Gaza, they don't even have the right to live. They don't have the right to go to school because most of the schools have been destroyed. All of Gaza's hospitals have been attacked. All of its universities have been destroyed. This is an existential war for Palestinians, not to have a free state, but simply to live and survive as human beings. So what is at the core of this conflict is the systematic denial, dispossession, and subjugation of an entire people. It's why the international human rights community unanimously, virtually, has described the reality that exists in the West Bank and Gaza as apartheid. And that's why Israel is facing a genocide case in the International Court of Justice, and why Israeli leaders have arrest warrants. Because what is at the core of this conflict is the violence perpetrated and the subjugation and denial of Palestinian rights. That is the center of this conflict. And when that ends, then there can be peace and perhaps reconciliation.